fans, do you want to win your share of $100,000? Simply enter the houseofboxing.com Fight Night Prediction Challenge. Compete with boxing fans around the world. Simply head over to houseofboxing.com and sign up now.
This is Lewis Hart for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store and houseofboxing.com. Delighted today to be joined with Mr. Chris Eubank Sr and Harlem Eubank. A big announcement came last week. You've brought your uncle Eubank Sr onto the management team. First of all, we'll start with you, Harlem. How good does it feel so close to the Brighton date, the homecoming, that it's just added much more to the excitement for the fight?
Feels great. Feels right on time. For my uncle to be by my side going into this fight back home in my city, a place where he headlined 32 years ago on my birthday. 3 years later I was born, and we're heading back to Brighton to headline a big boxing card and bring big boxing nights back to the city. One
thing I did want to say about you, Harlem, is obviously, you have a family that's illustrious with boxing and so much experience, but for you, it was, you was at Brighton on the weekend. That's really where it all started. You started playing for Brighton, and now it's almost in a way you're sort of playing catch up to the guys that are in and around you. Does it show how far you've came, that you're in and around these guys where they're probably more experienced than you are in a long career of boxing?
I started this thing late. I came into boxing at 18, and I've committed my life to it every day since that point in time. So I have been playing catch up, and I'm at a point now where I've learned my craft. I've dedicated everything I have to give to this sport, and now the stage is set for me to show the people what all that hard work has achieved.
When you see the such history of your family, how important is it that you embrace that name, and it's all the people that are around you that bringing Chris on board, that you embrace that your name, the family name has such a legacy, and you will sort of continue to push that legacy on more and more?
Yeah, it's a great, it's an unbelievable legacy that my uncle, the king of boxing in the UK, and globally, in my opinion, an inspiration to me to get into the sport, and a standard bearer in the sport for how he conducts himself and how he guides the people coming after him. And it's beautiful to have him by my side going into this next phase of my career where I'm coming into my prime, and I'm ready to put in them performances that make people stop and think, I'm going somewhere here.
It's not going to be stop and think. You see how humble he is? I'm not humble. Not like that. No, not just, this guy, he's brilliant. Okay, and if he wasn't brilliant, I wouldn't say it, because obviously I'll be standing next to him. To show, to help show the public what he is and what he can do. We're no longer looking at we are, or he is. So my job is to show just that he is, and all comers. We're first concentrating on who?
We want Conor Benn first, and clear up domestically, and then go on to the rest of the world, to the US, in a division that's thriving, and I'm going to be a big part of that.
Did you just say Conor Benn? Well, wow. Yes, that's right. 147. This is his last fight at 140. Now he's 147. Now this is the right fight. You're looking for Eubank, Mr. Nigel Benn. Okay, well, now you have one. One that will not be boycotted. That's why the fight didn't happen and will never happen. Harlem Eubank, Conor Benn will happen, okay? And there's no reason why it shouldn't. He's talked it up enough, okay? But now you have a proper Eubank to go up against. Pick on someone your own size. Well, see me, we're there now. Okay, so again, okay, that is something. You have the British champion, the European champion, the Commonwealth champion. All these names will be cleaned up. First come, first served. So if that's you, Conor, then let's have it right.
when you hear a fight like that, Eubank Ben, so much history, and
Harlem,
of course, but that started from yourself, yourself fighting Nigel Benn, and you've carved this legacy and you've formed this legacy that it will still live on today, and you now got another generation where we see Harlem potentially fighting Conor Benn. Seeing that sort of, you've created that legacy and see it carried on today must be so exciting for yourself to see that.
Well, I don't want to let the public down because obviously, I spoke to the boss, and it's why the first fiasco happened when they were talking about Junior and Conor. Looking at the weight difference, it wasn't allowed. The British Boxing Board of Control didn't allow it. Even though it may seem as though they had nothing to do with it, they did. Okay, there is a boss who is in and amongst what happens with boxers in terms of weight differences. Okay, now this is the correct weight. Okay, so the win that the father Nigel wants against the Eubank, that feather that he wants, he only can get through. He only can get it through the correct ways, and that is at 147 pounds. So, if Conor's up to it, if you're up to it, if you can go to the Boxing Board of Control and do what I had to do, which is bow to them. They are the law when it comes to boxing. You follow the Boxing Board of Control, you get your license, then that can happen. Up until then, you're blowing hot air, and you're wasting away your career. And you're having people say, well, what is he? I know that you're a great fighter. I know that I've always supported you. I know that you have nothing to do with any drugs. What you do is follow the rules, get your license, so that we can start talking proper business. Okay, all right, and that's a stadium fight. I guarantee you that.
With you saying that about the British Boxing Board of Control, is it scary what we see in the modern day where there's promoters who will want to try and overrule the board, as we see with the Conor Benn situation, that, promoters are essentially sometimes could be bigger than the board?
They don't try to overrule the board. They do overrule the board because they have lawyers and money. But it's wrong because it impacts on who? It impacts on the fighters. Weight, 8 pounds is the difference between the weights. So when you have a weight difference of 16 pounds, it's criminal. It's criminal. It should not be allowed, and these people should be told to stop their nonsense. Okay? Again, and we're going to start it from Conor Benn against Harlem Eubank. Okay? It starts correct. Now there's a Eubank at 147 pounds. You come down to the fighting class that you should be in. Okay? Now, you take care of that, then you can go on your way, clean up America, as I intend for this young man to do and have the opportunity to do.
The Conor Benn fight is something, I've always said it to you, we've always spoke about it. For it to be a proposition now, and you hear sort of the way that your uncle talks about the fight and the way you feel about the fight, it must be so exciting that this could be on the horizon.
Very exciting. This is the big fight I think was always meant to happen. I know that, and he knows that, and let's get it on. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, and Nigel, you can gruff and puff, and be as aggressive as you are, and you too, Conor, because you have the same traits as your father. I admire you because you follow what your father says. A son should follow his father into hell, as you are doing if the father says, you come with me. Okay, so I admire you for that. But your dad's wrong. Okay, I don't have any argument with him. I'm just saying he's wrong. Follow the Boxing Board of Control rules. You do not tear your license up. You do not tear up your license, and you do not say that I can't deal with them. You're not bigger than them. They're the ones giving you a way through for you to become who you want to be. Okay, so I'm telling you the truth, and the truth will set you free. Now you know what I'm talking about. I don't want to go into spirituality of what we have spoken about in the past, but it's true. The truth will set you free. After that, let's have it. Let's have it right. Yeah, Harlem. That's the man for you. If you can beat him, which you can't, which I don't think you can. Listen, I'm behind him. Like your dad is behind you, I'm behind my son, my nephew, my love. So let me hear your response to that. Get your license and stop. Now you're effectively hiding by not getting your license. You're hiding. So how long are you going to hide now? Now I've called you out. Now he's called you out. Huh? Maybe you're just, maybe you're a rump. Maybe you're playing. If you're playing, we'll soon find out. Okay, all right.
Just the last one from me, Chris. Throughout your career, you know, your toughness, and when the pressure gets put to the max, you always had the ability to come through on top. When